What's up, everybody? This is Jarrett from Bowling for Soup.
Hey, this is Samuel Azell. How are you guys doing? Greg is here.
Hi, this is Frank Turner.
And I am Megaran.
And you are lucky enough to be listening to Upside Down Shark Radio.
Yeah, be ups and down. Don't worry about it.
Hello, welcome to Upside Down Shark Radio's award season. This is episode 3 of the Sharkies Awards. This episode, we're going to be talking about our favourite old video games and the favourite video games of 2018.
So I had this idea of old video game to basically be, because a lot of video games now are ongoing games that keep upgrading.
Games as a service.
Yes, that is the terminology. But then I put this category up, and no one put any games as services games. So
the best games.
There's no award to have, so I just thought we could quickly mention the games that we've been playing this year, which wasn't released in this year. Resident Evil 7's very good, guys.
It is.
You should play that.
Game,
I've never played a Resident Evil game properly, but that game is
scared of it.
Very good.
Oh, would it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Jump at least once.
At least once.
Maybe twice.
Especially in VR, man. that stuff is...
I wouldn't I enjoyed it in on a regular PS4. I don't want to play that in VR.
It's bad.
So I know I would be scared.
It's bad in a good way. With the release of Tomb Raider 3, I replayed Tomb Raider 2 before it was released.
What you mean Tomb Raider? Do you mean Rise of the Tomb Raider or Tomb Raider 2 from the PS1?
What do you think?
Which one's Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
Well, they're both old video games.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is number 2? Number 3?
No, Rise of the Tomb Raider is number 2. Then Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the new one.
Yes. So number 2 is very good. I enjoyed it a lot. It's probably the best one because the third one just seems a bit soulless. And that made me sad. And Mad Max as well was free on PlayStation Plus, and that is a really good game. Mm-hmm. Most open worlds seem like they don't have anything in it, but that because of Mad Max, we all know that world that Mad Max is in is a deserted wasteland. Yeah. It just adds itself to it so much more that nothing feels like more in that way, and you can just upgrade your car and zoom past it and kill people. It's very good. And also Burnout Revenge is a very good Burnout game. I've been playing that. Feel free to do whatever.
I'll put a bit of pizzazz into it.
I think we should leave Dobbies till last.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll go. I play Mario Kart Double Dash. I have not played that game in a long time. Plug my GameCube.
Best one.
Yeah,
best one.
I used to worry that I didn't think it was as good as I remembered, and I played it this year, and I love it still. It's so much fun.
It's not. It's weird because some people say it's not a proper Mario Kart, but
I don't know why.
Because of the double thing.
Yeah, you get 2 people in your car. You get 2 items. You get that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now. It's all coming full circle.
Okay.
Time Splitters 2. Craig told me I shouldn't buy it.
It's not the best one. It's no Future Perfect.
See, I couldn't get that though. So I bought Time Splitters 2, and
it's got perfect.
It's still really fun. I still really like Time Splitters 2. I played that with my friend as well, and it was chaos. It was so much fun.
I think a Games Koch Media. The studio actually bought the rights to Time Splitters as well, so there might be another one in the future.
Yeah, I think it's still up in the air.
I no idea what that would look like.
Yeah. Oh, as long as Cortez is back to go. Damn it!
Did you get that reference?
He's the main one in
the
Time Splitters. Yeah, he's the bald one. He's the bald one with the goggles in Time Splitters 3. That's like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that's him. It's Vin Diesel.
Oh, okay.
That TV show.
What?
The Simpsons.
No, was it
Nirvana the Band show?
It was like a cartoon. It was on Cartoon Network.
If it's not, it sounds like it should be a TV show.
We shouldn't have had any.
I want to join the Time Squad.
I've put Planet Coaster down as well, because that's just like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but new.
I saw an Irishman play that.
Oh, yeah. It was a shame, really, wasn't it? And I bought a Hat in Time the other day. In the Steam
in time
sale.
for what?
A Hat in Time for Steam.
In time for
what? A Hat in Time.
For what was it raining?
I'm going to punch you in the nuts. And yeah, it's just a really fun platformer, like Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, that sort of thing. It's just, they've done a really good job on that. Really liking it.
Okay.
There's me, innit? Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, I've waxed lyrical about this game for...
It's a good game.
Basically the whole time we were doing this podcast. It's basically like Nintendo's version of Red Dead Redemption 2, even though it's they were released the other way around. So if you
I'm still playing that as well, to be fair. I go back to it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Deep open worlds with lots of rich things to do. Nothing feels wasted. Everything feels like it has a purpose and place in the world. The combat is pretty much spot on. The RPG elements are pretty ace as well. Story is basic, but
It's there.
it's there if you want it.
You can do it as you want as well. Like
Yeah, but that's
you can
not
finish the game as soon as you start it.
I'll tell you,
basically.
that's not what you want to play it for.
Yeah.
You play it for the sheer joy of the gaming experience, and I still think it's tough because we will go on to what I think could top it, but I think it's still my favorite video game of all time.
Ooh, yeah, contender up there.
So
I don't want to, I feel like saying the greatest video game of all time segues us perfectly.
Oh yeah, so you got competition now. haven't you?
Speaking,
That is true. There is another. There is a third that could potentially.
everyone counted this out.
Hang on,
No one
you're
thought
getting a
about
call
it
on
then.
your iPad. Is that pick up on the thing? And we're back in the room.
So this year, I replayed a lot of Skyrim and I replayed a lot of Fallout 4, and the majority of my time with old games this year was spent in those worlds because, they're massive
They're
open
big,
worlds.
yeah. There's lots to do.
Big boy
I'll
worlds.
say.
But when I saw this category come up, there was only one game other than those two that I'd played. And thinking about it, it was the one I enjoyed playing the most. Chrome Studios in the early noughties.
Oh my god, here we go. This is actually like he's just gone on Wikipedia.
It's not. You don't need Wikipedia when it's ingrained in your brain.
Chrome Studios are not a well-known company, but in the noughties they released a little franchise that gave everyone a nice little taste into what the Australian outback really is.
Neighbours.
They released the game Tile Tasmanian Tiger, and it was sort of platformy, sort of adventure-y, and it was good fun, but they knew they had to top it, and by God, this is the Infinity War of video games. Let me tell you. Tile
As
Tasmanian
people said
Tiger
earlier in the year,
2,
the most ambitious crossover.
very
in
much
history.
so, and it didn't even need to cross over to be so. Tile Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue takes everything the first game did and says, that's not good enough, and it makes it better. There's a massive open world. You don't need levels anymore because you've got an open world and a big old bush jeep you can drive around
Oh,
in.
I do remember that. Yeah. More
Is it-
boomerangs.
is it the croc of its generation?
Oh, very much so. It's the crock of every generation.
Even the croc generation?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's even better than a game we'll be talking about later that I'm going to be very excited about.
I will point out that Tyler Tasmanian Tiger 2 is the only game I've played in that series, and I used to play that all the time.
It is a really good
It
game.
was really fun.
to
back then.
to destroy the illusion for a moment. It is a really good
It was a
game,
fun game.
and it was.
What
Chrome Stu-
illusion?
Yeah, you're right. Neil's under an illusion. I'm not. Chrome Studios recently came back and decided they'd remake the games for PC. So Tyler Tasmanian Tiger 2 came out fully at the beginning of this year, and I was just playing at the beginning of the year, and I was like, you know what? I love this game, and I still do.
Craig looks like he's about to like jump off the
And,
roof or something.
Therefore, Tyler Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue is old video game of 2018. End of discussion.
Tyler Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue.
That's one.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like we're all a bit shell shocked.
I'm putting the tick next to it.
I didn't actually have a phone call. I just had to leave the room.
You couldn't handle it. It wasn't for people of a sensitive disposition.
So this is now we're on to 2018 video game, I guess.
I mean, yeah,
Here
to
we
be
go.
fair, old video game of the year is Tyler the Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue. And to such a monumental degree that I believe we're all in agreement that the old video game of the year should be retitled the Tyler the Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue Award.
Mhm.
I would completely agree.
Can we get a clap for that?
No one saw that coming. Not even the developers.
Yeah, not even Ty.
I'm doing
Um,
all right today.
Not that, the prestigency of these awards may be in question after. Prestige? The prestige. of-
Prestigency.
It might be a word prestigency, but I think you pronounced it incorrectly.
From looking at this list, we can pass who spends the most money on video games from the looks of it. Neil?
Well, granted, you did have a lot of free time earlier in the year
Oh, yeah.
as well.
I might broke my leg. Did I mention that? I broke my leg. No, I'm not sure.
Did you?
Everyone knows that, yeah. Neil, go ahead.
Okay, so we got video game of the year. So contenders here, we've got Spider-Man for the PS4, God of War for the PS4, Celeste, which is on various consoles, Tetris Effect, which was also PS4. You got Hitman 2 on various, Dragon Ball Z Fighters with a Z, That was also on various. Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Into the Breach, Jurassic World Evolution,
Lumines.
Switch Edition for the Switch.
You put it on here.
I always thought it was Lumines.
Yeah,
I did as well, and
Lumines.
then Craig said it out loud to me, and he called it Lumines.
Are you sure,
so-
Craig?
It's,
right.
it's made
No,
by
I'm not.
Ubisoft, so you know it's
But it's-
Lumines.
And 2 Point Hospital for PC only.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there we go. That's the shortlist. Quite a lot
Does
there.
Yeah, it's a
anyone
long
mind-
shortlist.
Does anyone mind if I start with 2 Point?
No, go for it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not going to make the top 3, so
It's
go.
not. I just want to get it out of the way, honestly, because I'm
Okay.
going to have a lot to say later.
Okay.
2 Point. If you've ever played the old Bullfrog game, Theme Hospital, then 2 Point Hospital is basically that in 2018. There's updated graphics, there's new illnesses, and it's just more of that. It's just good fun. End of.
I do really like Theme Hospital.
It was a big
Very
hit
fun
in
game.
Europe, apparently, which we are part of.
Yeah.
Thanks, Teresa.
For now.
Yeah. Tom, do you want to go Jurassic World Evolution?
Yeah, I do. It's basically the spiritual successor to Jurassic Park Operation Genesis.
So this is the same. You're going to do the same as 2 Point Hospital here, except with Jurassic Park in the name.
Exactly. This is the year the real-time strategy park builder, whatever genre, comes back with a punch. And Jurassic World Evolution is actually a really solid game. I put this on the list before I played another game on the list, and so I feel like it's kind of moot now. But Jurassic World Evolution sees you take control of 5 different islands and build them up from relative shabbiness to thriving islands of shops, bowling alleys, arcades, dinosaurs, and power lines. So many power lines. But yeah, it's really good. It's really pretty, particularly on Xbox One X in 4K. Real nice. And I'd recommend it if you're into dinosaurs or park sims or anything like that. Just give it a go. Why not? Do it.
Made by the people that made Planet Coaster as well.
There you go.
I cannot remember their name now.
Frontier.
Frontier, that's it. Frontier Development. So,
Yeehaw!
I know, like it's not going to make it. But I just wanted to say I heard that who's the guy
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
apparently his performance into that is like really phoned in. Like they probably just got him into the studio for about half hour.
Yeah.
And like it's just that.
It's not as bad as they try to find a voice substitute
They did,
for Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas
Sounds
Howard.
amazing.
And Bryce Dallas Howard is pretty much on point. Chris Pratt sounds nothing like Chris Pratt.
Okay.
But yeah, there you go. That's just how video game acting works now, doesn't it?
So that's
Yeah.
It's getting better at least.
so that's 2 off the list.
We're getting less Peter Dinklages and more Nolan North.
I mean, I
Sorry,
feel
Destiny, you're not in the old video game category. I
They
mean,
only
the
got-
Tasmanian Tiger 2 category.
what Destiny in brackets the Pinker Dinklage version.
The Pinklage version,
Pinklage. Yep, that's what I call him. Me and him. we go there.
Pinklage.
What do you want next, Neil?
Do you want me to go through mine? 'Cause
Hey, you're the host. You
okay,
have the
well,
power.
So I've got Lumines, the Switch edition. That's just... I'm going to rule that one out, to be honest, because I put it in there just because Craig put Tetris Effect in there. I just wanted to put another music
That's
game
not a
in
very nice move.
there. But yeah, it's just like a fun music puzzle game, like Tetris, but not quite.
Tetris is you create lines.
Mm-hmm.
Lumines is that
Creating blocks of 4
yes,
colours.
4 color. There's each block is made up of 4. You have to match the colors together to make a single block of 4 with one color, and there's a line going across. And as you progress, the songs change. They get faster, slower, and the drop rate changes as well. And it's all very in tuned into the music.
And it's got really good HD rumble features on the Switch version. That don't feel good when you're playing it handheld, but feel great when you're playing it on the TV.
Alrighty.
That HD rumble is a weird feature.
You got Monster Hunter World, the latest in the Monster Hunter franchise. Monster Hunter 5, as it's called.
I don't think anyone calls it that now.
No, but it is. It's the latest Monster Hunter in the series. And yeah, it's a really fun Monster Hunter game. They kind of changed it so it's more accessible because it's been historically the last 10 years or so been on the DS or the 3DS, and the controls are a bit hard to get used to. I'd say they're not something that people can just jump into and like know what they're doing. So Yeah, they just made it more accessible. They sort of streamlined all the hunting and gathering, and yeah, they did a good job on it. It's fun.
It's still a Monster Hunter game, however.
It's still a Monster Hunter game, yeah. All you're doing is like just grinding away, just killing monsters just to get more armor, to build more weapons, then to kill stronger monsters to get more armor. Yeah.
Okay.
If you just want something to last forever, that is a good game.
It's weird from the outside looking in. I saw someone play as Aloy in Monster Hunter World, and also
from Horizon.
And then also Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yes, they added that recently.
Yeah, so it's very.
I'm not sure
strange.
how that works because I saw him do like a
Hadouken.
Dragon Punch.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's actually in it.
It doesn't sound open to the floor. Obviously, it doesn't sound to me, Neil, like you're very confident in it being Game of the Year.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
What do you want me to say?
Okay. I want you to sell me now.
So the problem is it's not my favourite Monster Hunter game, but it's definitely the best one to jump in on if you've ever been interested in Monster Hunter.
Quality of life stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's definitely made for newer players, and you get to the end game and there's not a lot to do.
Okay.
But yeah, and then we've got Into the Breach. Anyone heard of Into the Breach?
Isn't it a
No.
puzzle game?
It's a strategy game. Yeah, where
It's like Metal Gears, right?
it's to do with mechs and stuff,
Yeah.
like giant robots, and you control 3 units, and you can see what the enemy are going to do on their next turn. It's all turn-based. You see what the enemy's going to do on their next turn, and you're sort of defending a city on an isometric grid, and you have to sort of just block them and destroy them. It's just really clever in the way that they've put it together. If you're not into strategy games, it's not something I could recommend, but it's something if you really just want to invest your time in a really good, really in-depth strategy game, check it out.
Entertaining, nonetheless.
Yes.
Okay. So does that leave it for me to run off
That's you,
my...
yeah.
Okay, right. Marvel Spider-Man is the best superhero game that has ever been released, even including the Batman games.
I mean,
That is my pitch.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
It's-
not played it, but the Batman games are amazing.
Swinging through New York just feels really good. And the story... I never really liked the original. You know, everyone goes, oh, that's Spider-Man 2. Oh, that was a really good game. Wasn't for me. But this Spider-Man game, really good. Good story, good character development. And even the stealth. The downfall is the stealth segments.
Yeah, Mary Jane and Miles.
Miles, yes. I personally, being as a somewhat of a comic book nerd, I do like Miles as a Spider-Man, and his integration into that game makes me hopeful for the future. I think what they do with him leaves you going, oh, I'm interested to see where this leads to in the future. Whilst the Mary Jane stuff is quite sad.
The first time it happened, I was like, why is everyone complaining about this? And then you kind of have to do it a second, and then a
Interrupts the
third,
flow.
then
Yeah.
a fourth time, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh.
So
yeah, I get it now.
the flow is quite bad for that. The thing about it is it's not an origin story. It is slam dunked straight into the middle of Peter Parker's life. He's been Spider-Man already now.
Mhm.
Him and Mary Jane have broken up, and the story goes on from there. And because everyone knows, the radioactive spider and stuff like that, and the story they build, Insomniac have made a very good game there. God of War, however, is one of my favourite games this year. Because of God of War, some may say it was because I was at home and had nothing else to do. I played that game and enjoyed it so much that I started buying Norse mythology books and reading up on Norse after, because that game sparked something in me that is just I've been so interested in now because of it.
Viking heritage.
Yes, that's what me being a Viking with my ginger
Mimi
beard.
Viking.
Mimi Viking. That's my Viking name. Kratos. I have played a God of War game before. It's never really interested me because Kratos is, hey, I'm an angry bald dude. This game, it still takes place. He's still Kratos, but giving him his son, he has actual character development, and it is a very good game.
Has anyone else played it here?
No.
Oh, that's a surprise.
It
That was a big
is.
one
It
earlier in the
is
year, wasn't it?
really good. Yes.
I play Xbox.
I also play Xbox.
Oh.
I have.
Got
So that's
Divide
2
here,
games
yeah.
I cannot play.
Here's another game we can't play. Celeste.
That's on everything though.
You sure? I thought it was only Switch.
Switch, PC, I think it might
Everything.
be on PS4 now, actually.
PC Master Race.
Yeah, it's definitely on Switch and PC.
Celeste is. I don't think Celeste is going to win, so I'll cross this off now.
No,
I think we know what's going to win.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things
I-
about Celeste, though.
Celeste
I will
is,
get that game, actually.
Celeste is a pixel perfect platformer. It's 2D, similar in the vein of a Mario, but
Super Meat Boy, I think.
Super Meat
people
Boy,
sort of
but
liken it to.
it's more 8-bit in style, and you have puzzle scenarios. You have a jump, and then you have a double jump, but then also there are these balls in the air which refresh your jump. So in some scenarios you jump, and then you've got to somehow get to this next ball to jump to the next bit, and by the end of it you feel like you are some sort of Neo guy in this world, because you're just like doof, 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 going around through the whole level. Story in that's really good. It's about a girl climbing the mountain, and as she climbs the mountain, she is coming to face to face with her demons, let's say, and you get to make strawberry pie. It's all good.
Yeah, I do want to get that game.
Yeah, it's good. I'll probably cross off Tetris Effect.
Cool. On my notes, I played 3 levels out of 10. That was my score for it.
3 levels out of 10. There you go. It is a very good Tetris Effect game.
It's the only
It's the
Tetris
only one.
game, yeah.
No, there's pure Tetris. What are you on about? What did I say?
The only
It's the only
Tetris
good
Effect
Tetris
game.
Tetris Effect is a good Tetris Effect game. Is that
Yeah,
what I
that's
said?
what you said.
Oh, okay. It is a good Tetris game, and you think the £35 entry is too much, but you just keep playing it and playing it and playing it. Where a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, you say, oh, yeah, it's more of a time sink to get on there and get going. Tetris Effect is, I'll just pop it on, play a few levels. There you go, 15 minutes done. Good Tetris game. Hitman 2. Hitman is more of the same.
Hitman again.
It's Hitman again. Hitman 2. I don't think it's going to win, but those games are very good. They allow you to import the whole first game into the second one, which is very nice. And they have refined their mechanics to a point now where if you see something, you could probably do it, because the game sets up a really strong set of rules and things that you can tinker around with, to the point where you think, yes, it's that vase there, I could probably, push that person into that or something like that. Or I can probably lure this person in by flicking coins on the floor, and he will eventually go to that trail, and then I could just push him out the window, like a proper Hitman
I can put
does.
this rubber duck explosive device on the floor and just wait till they walk towards it.
Yeah.
And wait an hour.
There you go.
And that's how you have fun.
That's the most annoying thing about Hitman 2. But there is the you have to learn the patterns and things like that in every level, and it is a bit of a time sink. But I would say of this list, it is more respecting of your time than other games are on here.
Depends how you choose to play it.
Dragon
That's
Ball
the wrong way, as Craig seems to have done.
Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z.
Oh, see, I'm going to put my hat in the ring for this one as well.
What, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I like fighting games. I have a fighting stick. The problem... my name's Craig. I have a problem. And this game is just very solid. Core mechanic... Like, me and Neil... just played this game randomly when he came around my house a few months back, and it's just easy to pick up and play and fight. It's not... some people can button mash, but if you know the game and you know the ins and outs,
you can get away with it. Yeah.
You can get away with it. But it is just an enjoyable fighting game to pick up and play.
It's so flashy as well. Like,
yeah,
it just looks good.
Because of the simplicity of the controls, you can do slight button variations, and stuff happens on the whole screen. So it's like big flashy moves for not a lot of input.
It's probably the best fighting game that's come out in like the last 5 years.
Oh, as someone who doesn't like fighting games, it's a game I've actually enjoyed playing.
Because you played around my house, didn't you? We had fun with that, yeah.
Yes.
It was a good game.
It doesn't rely on your love of Dragon Ball. If you don't have
Yes.
any preference,
Well,
of
thank
Dragon
God
Ball,
for that.
it's just you
just
play
pick
it,
the character you like the look of, and
and then go with
Piccolo,
it.
the human flute.
Kid Boo, the bubble gum.
Kid Buu, yeah, we figured out he was the best.
Margin Boo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any others?
Lu
Super
Boo?
Boo's
No,
not
that's
there.
Dynasty Warriors.
Blue.
Also another good franchise.
Cell.
He's in it.
He is a character. So there you go.
Yeah.
I have whittled down my own list because I knew.
I think the hardest part
Krillin.
of this category was going to
There
be
you
you
go,
whittling
isn't
down. In fairness.
I mean, Tetris Effect, right, I would recommend that to anyone because everyone knows what Tetris is and that game just remixes it enough.
I can cross out Lumines as well.
Okay.
Has he already
Just,
done that?
So, this is Dobby's suggestion, but I think Tom
sorry, I didn't see this,
already agrees with him. Sell us.
Forgot this was in the list.
A lot of
Yeah, me too.
the time, the most obvious choice will be overlooked.
Will it? Really?
Huh.
It's raining hard. Should we take the car? That's the obvious choice. No, let's walk.
Red Dead Redemption 2 should be Game of the Year 2018. A lot of people would snigger at that.
That's
Because
Do you think that they've got reason to, or?
I do think there are negatives to this game,
Mhm.
but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 1 is my favourite video game of all time. I've not finished Red Dead Redemption 2 yet, but I think it's going to be better. I'm enjoying it more. The story, the mechanics, the world, everything is better. I love it. There are definitely problems with it, but they're not big problems. They're problems that, piss you off in the moment. It's like sometimes your horse won't avoid a tree when it's been avoiding trees for a good 5 minutes up to that point without issue. It's having to loot cabinets individually instead of just
The
going through a
Bioshock
looting
effect,
system.
as they call
The
it.
Bioshock effect. Things like that. Tiny little things which really shouldn't hamper a gaming experience, I should add. But for something as deep and pure as this, it's genuinely in my head what video games could and should be. It's a breathtaking entertainment experience, let alone a video game to me.
Okay, we hand it over to Tom, or?
Yeah.
It looked like he had
Tom, do you have something to say?
I am not one to really play video games.
So your opinion is moot on this whole
No,
subject?
no.
Okay,
I
alright.
enjoy the culture. I get bored very, very quickly playing games. There's not many that I will sit down and play from start to finish. I have already lost many evenings to Red Dead Redemption 2, and I think that stands as a testament of how much it can suck you into the world. I think it is the best video game open world ever created.
What about Breath of the Wild?
I think that if you like Breath of the Wild, you like Red Dead Redemption because it's a very similar concept of the way they've built the world. Obviously, stylistically, Legend of Zelda leans more on like stylized anime, art style. And Red Dead goes for more sort of hard realism, which it does to an almost absurd degree for a console experience. The world is stunningly beautiful, and there is so much to do. There is so much like vividness in, and it's just so alive in the amount of wildlife, the amount of realism, not just horse testicles, but the way that your hair grows, and you can only style your hair after it's grown longer. The way that you can be over or underweight depending on how much you eat. Everything like that just makes you... It's like a life simulator in the best possible way. And it is bled into every other interest of mine in any other media. Like, suddenly I am obsessed with Westerns. It has that such a visceral effect on me that it's changed my taste in things.
You scoffed at me for the bloody God of War Norse thing.
Look what I'm wearing. Where's my cowboy hat?
Fetch me my cowboy hat.
I don't have it.
I also have a cowboy belt on. And
So what we're getting from
I'm
this
gonna
is
find my
Tom
cowboy
has
hat.
too much money and is easily influenced.
And he's realised how wicked sick Sergio Leone films are.
And now so in the middle of... Oh, there you go. So what's the hat got to do with your argument?
because I'm a cowboy now, on a steel horse I ride. I'm wanted,
And he's been listening to Bon Jovi.
dead or alive.
So that's one of the downsides of the game. I know Dobby's going to mention.
So
They should listen to Bon Jovi.
There are
Wanted
there
Dead or
are-
Alive is a really good song.
There aren't many
Okay, yeah.
downsides. I would say that's
Oh,
probably
Jesus
the.
Christ.
Oh no, that's just New Hawks. I was going to say that's the one and only, but that's a completely different artist.
before we get into the negatives, I don't think there's an easy way to do this. So let's just go through the list, right? We all said the positive things about the games that we want.
Mm-hmm.
What do we see this list being? I don't see Into the Breach or Monster Hunter World getting
No,
in the
that's
final three.
Or
do-
2 Point Hospital.
I think we know what the top 3 are already.
Well,
And
I
think
don't.
Well,
I think we knew the
so-
second we wrote
I
it
think
down.
we know the top 2. I don't know if like that, but
Shall I just throw out what
So-
I think it is?
Yeah.
I've crossed them out, right? And we have 4 games.
What I think is the top 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, and God of War.
Oh, see, that's not what I was going for.
That's what I was going to go for. To be fair,
And I think as 2018 has gone on, those are the 3 that have stuck out.
Okay. Neil,
How
are you feeling?
So
can you speak into the microphone now?
sorry. Out of the way we were talking about, I would have said God of War, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and Red Dead Redemption.
See, this is
2.
where it gets tough, because I was inclined to put that second.
What?
Fighters.
Fighters, yeah. I'm not. I personally, I liked Spider-Man a lot, but I don't think it was as. By the end of the experience, I wasn't as interested in
It gets very
finishing it.
samey.
So
Yeah.
would this be my decision really? Like between God of War and
Kind-
Spider-Man?
Yeah, I guess so.
really?
Yeah, because you've played God of War.
Because I was surprised. I was ready to cross Dragon Ball off the list,
Mhm.
but you sound like you enjoy
I
it.
have a lot of fun with that game still. Like every so often, I just boot it up and
Where I bought it on release day because I was obviously
we had an argument
idiot-
about that. Yeah.
idiot dragon. Well, Neil, you say you're going to be online and you're not. Well, who's to blame there? I bought it on release day. I mucked around with the meddling story of it, and then I didn't really play it because I online just getting whooped. But then you came round and we played it and had a really good time, and then that sparked it for me to
That's
play a bit
so-
more.
Fighting games are often just based on how much fun you have in multiplayer rather than
Yeah.
because story. You're not gonna play a fighting game for the story, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, it's not a good story.
yeah.
You basically play clones of all the fighters throughout the whole.
That's it. Yeah, you're just sort of They're just there to pad out the price tag you paid, isn't it?
So in that case, then I would say that I would take God of War over Spider-Man
Yeah.
because even though Spider-Man is one of the best superhero video games, I would still say that I would take God of War
I think
over.
where God of War has a definitive ending, probably. I haven't played it, but I think it probably ends, and that's it.
I would just say as well, like God of War it's not like a big bombastic end boss fight. It's there's an ending and then there's some clarity. There's some time there's story beats after the big bad battle, and then the ending happens. Like
I got
I
to
enjoy
the
that.
end of Spider-Man and I thought, at the start of the game, I was like, I think I could platinum this. And I got to the end and I was like, I can't be bothered to go fight all these people just over and over and then move to the next location and do it again. And
to say that it is it's Batman inspired combat, but it's not. It is not
Yeah.
the Batman system.
no, it's definitely got very fluid combat and
Yeah.
very fluid movement. And that's the best bit about it. But
So we're putting Spider-Man as number 4.
yeah, go for it.
So that leaves God of War, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Does this mean we're jumping into the negatives? Or
I mean, I like to. I know I'm vocal on my opinions on this show and any show, but I would like to say Red Dead Redemption 2 is a good game. It should not be Game of the Year.
Okay.
That's
Why is that?
So, I actually wrote down, actually.
Here we go. I'll point out that I've played about 10 minutes of it at my brother's house, so
Okay.
I don't really know much.
So you didn't
about
really
it.
do anything in that game then?
No, I'm not. I don't think
Okay.
I've got anything to say here because I don't think it's my kind of game anyway. So
Okay, right. So first off is the controls. It seems like Rockstar games have a very specific feel because Rockstar like to make games their way. I love Rockstar games. For some reason, this game feels worse than GTA 5. It feels a bit more sluggish. For some reason, Neil, so like you aim and then there's another button to get out your gun and then you press the aim button to shoot again. Who creates this? What is that's not
I'm
good?
going to rebut that because
Okay.
it's the interaction system you're talking about rather than the aiming system, first and foremost.
But they.
Whilst I would agree,
Yeah, okay, I'll let you. I'll let
it's
you.
very counterintuitive at times if you do want to just take out a gun and shoot someone, that you have to, look at them before even
And then you press the
considering.
button, yeah.
And the fact it's the same button to get the gun out and then fire is something that's gotten me
So
into
you
trouble.
double
You press
tap
it to
yeah.
aim, and then you fire. It's something that gets me into trouble sometimes, but that's something you can map easy enough. It's not a great system, but I don't think it's a system that negatively impacts my enjoyment of the game in any way.
So you mentioned there are multiple systems and stuff like that, but surely they should just have made it better then, instead of you having to reassign buttons and that sort of thing, right? That is part of the design of the game.
Can you reassign buttons?
I have something to say.
Okay, Tom in
Yes,
the corner
you
there.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And also, I am never one to discredit ambition. And the one thing that Red Dead Redemption 2 has above anything else is heapfuls of ambition. Because otherwise you just end up with the same old games over and over again. And as much as a good story can make a game enjoyable, if I wanted to just enjoy a game for the story, I'd prefer it as a movie. So the fact that Red Dead throws you into the experience so much makes it almost unparalleled in it as a almost in a genre in of itself. It is a watershed moment in console gaming. It's almost as if they built it for the next generation of consoles and then scaled it back to work just about on the PS4 and Xbox One, and then they're going to do like a remaster where they just scale everything back up for when the PS5 comes out.
You can basically guarantee that based on way they did GTA 5.
Exactly, it'll be the same
but
thing.
to take it to the real world for a moment, you think about certainly younger people, the amount of money they're going to have. A game like Red Dead Redemption costs a lot of money, but it's so much game for your money. And in a world where you can't just buy these AAA games every week as they come out at the end of the year, a game like that you can really sink your teeth into for a long period of time is a perfect thing in this day and age.
You could argue that for a lot of games, though, is the trouble. Not just games that have really
A lot of something that doesn't play well still is a game that doesn't play well.
A game that's got lots of content and stuff that lasts for hundreds of hours, but it can still be a bad game.
What is it that you think doesn't play well
Exactly,
about Red Dead
that was what I was
Redemption
going to
2?
say.
Okay, right. So one of the things I disliked about the original Red Dead Redemption 2 was the skinning. The original Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, that's what I did. I find that frustrating in the first one as well.
It's the skinning,
You saw
right? There is
a little cutscene, and
yes, so there is an animation for it, and it seems like for GTA they streamed that back a bit, to make everything a bit more responsive, a bit quicker. It seems like the guy who did the skinning animation got a major promotion in Rockstar and then went, everything's going to take forever. If you kill... can you kill a cow? I think it's a cow or buffalo.
You can kill everything.
Yeah, so you kill the cow, right, and they take quite a... I'm not dissing, I'm sure a cow can take a couple of bullets. And then you skin the cow. That takes a while. And then, so now I've got this pelt around my arm, which makes him walk slower.
It's realism.
It's something
I love
can
it.
understand why you wouldn't necessarily like it. To me personally, I think it adds another layer of depth, certainly when it comes to the looting system, in that you're looting people and you've got to be careful because people might know what you've just done in killing everyone in the town around you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get on with it, get all the money you can, and then get a quick exit. If you're looting or skinning a
Cougar.
boar, no, we'll go with a boar because I'm going to use a cougar. If you're skinning a boar, as I have been this week quite a lot, if you're skinning a boar in an area with bigger predators, it adds that extra layer of I need to do this quickly and get out of here because this corpse is going to attract predators.
But then you can't really do it quickly because
You can do it quickly.
he has some Geralt type.
I'll add a point here. Craig made the admission to me yesterday that he's still using the same horse that he started the game with. And this is going to add to his frustration because it's not a horse that's very strong, doesn't have very much stamina, is not very fast. So when you're doing this with bigger predators as well, it's definitely going to slow you down. But I'd say that's your play style.
To be fair, I'm doing the same. But
then-
just because of an emotional connection to my boogie.
Can I?
Yeah, but then you
Okay.
can't tell them he's playing it wrong if he's playing it the way he
he's
wants
not
to.
at all. He's not playing it wrong.
My horse
I'm
was
just
a pre-order
saying
bonus, and but so do you know my skinning story? So the pelts on my arm and then I call my horse over. I put it on my horse. This makes my horse go slower. By the time I get to my camp to, do whatever with the pelt, it's gone bad. To which point I'm just like, well, this was just a wasted effort on my part. I'm never skinning anything again because it's just a waste of time.
Well,
As it was in the Old West.
I should also point out, if you've skinned it, the pelts can't go bad. Carcasses go bad, and that's not skinning it.
There you go.
I mean, like I said, I haven't really played it, but it seems like a case of deciding when gameplay elements become
what is
cumbersome instead of fun.
Is realism helping or hindering?
Yeah.
Realism always helps.
No, it doesn't.
I like the meditative nature of Red Dead.
Sorry to cut you off, Ryan. Realism. So you're saying when a realistic, like, survival game, for instance, helps a game, right? It draws the people in.
Yeah.
But then a game... I'll use an example like Fallout 76, and they take those realistic elements, incorporate them into that game. Does it make it good?
Well, no, they took out all the speech things and all like the things that will drag you into the story and the world.
The thing with realism, you need a good game before you add it on top. Fallout 76 loses what is a good game in a typical Fallout sense because you have none of the good characters, the missions or anything. It's just, it's basically a sandbox, and then they've put realism on top of it. It doesn't work.
Okay.
And you got Monster Hunter World, where you're carrying an 8-foot-long sword made out of an animal's bones. Oh, my voice. And,
he's getting choked up.
Getting excited about it.
It takes forever to swing, but no human could possibly swing that. And that's what makes that fun. That it takes forever to do anything in that game.
But I wouldn't say any of the some of the realism does. I mentioned before, looting cabinets in a house or whatever can take a long, long time, and that does get frustrating to the point I don't do it anymore. But also, I mean, I've got a lot of money at this point.
Well, someone's doing well.
Yeah. But I mean, just a massive sword, you can carry about 20 guns on your horse. You don't see them. It's realism to a point. Mm-hmm. I imagine in a future Red Dead Redemption it'll go way too far potentially, but I think this nailed it. I think it's got the balance basically right.
So you think everything in the game is well balanced?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would like to bring my next problem with it is... I have two major points, really. So I will start with one first, and it is the story missions. Now, I'm sure the story's good. Have you finished it? You haven't
I've
finished?
not finished it.
None of us here have finished it. I hear the chapter. I'm on chapter 4, and I hear it really picks up after that. When I'm 500 hours into it, it finally starts picking up. The story... I'd say it starts really badly. From chapter 2 onwards, you start in a snowy mountain, and the controls feel even worse. I think it's going to get better. Don't worry. You're slugging through the snow.
The biggest issue Red Dead Redemption 2 has is the first 3 hours. But once you're past them, everything just clicks into place. So it's a very bad intro.
You have a big open world. You can go and do whatever in this open world, and you're free to roam, hunt, take down bandits, whatever the rival gang name is. You can go and find hideouts and theirs before the actual story takes you there. And this open world's nice. I as you said, you said it's really good, and it takes hours to traverse and stuff like that. You go into a story mission, I feel like Rockstar are here is the line. Go here, this way. This is the way to the story. You don't do it our way, otherwise it's mission over. You failed. There's one mission where you have to sniper a farmer to scare him off so that you can steal his sheep. I couldn't see this farmer at all, so I tried getting closer to the farmer and with my sniper.
Failed?
What's that?
Mission failed? Not
mission failed, but it seemed like there was a countdown or something because the NPC was like, hey, you gotta come over here, otherwise he's gonna suspect something. And I was like, what? So I can't do it my way. I have to do it the specific way. And because I couldn't see the farmer, it was just me shooting randomly on this farm plot until he ran off from being scared. So I would say that the mission design does not help that game.
That's a single mission.
Yeah, I remember the mission you're talking about, and I had no problem at all. I think the thing is that video games are subjective, and we're all going to have our own...
Are all these awards.
Yeah, exactly. So if anything, we're all going to enjoy it for different reasons. I, for one, in any sort of media, hate when there's any kind of peril. I like it when all the characters just get on and just sort of in the first. My favorite part of any movie is the first 20 minutes. And like Predator, my favorite bit is when they're all high-fiving at the start. So I like walking simulators. I don't actually like combat in my video games. So that's why I love Red Dead, because you can play it that way. Like, yeah, fair enough, there is some combat in the missions and everything. But as you say, it's kind of scripted. You can kind of just get through it all pretty quick. And then I can just go back to exploring mountains.
But then, so just say you wanted to go through all the story and that's the only thing you wanted to do. You finish, so most stories are you start off in your camp or somewhere near your camp. You go to do a mission, usually a bank heist, where the NPCs tell you, oh, we've got this down to a T, nothing can go wrong. Obviously, something goes wrong. And everything goes, flashing alert, stuff like that. You finish the mission, and you're nowhere near where any missions are. And you have to just clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop for probably 5 to 10 minutes to get back to another mission.
But that's where you're doing it wrong.
How am I doing that wrong?
Because the idea is you go and explore. You've got side missions to be doing. You've got the world to take in at that point. If you're just going through this game, mission, you're not playing it right.
That's because...
Yeah, but you can't say that.
I know
really.
you're not saying it in as... It's a game that's built to be played, not the way you want to be playing it as such, but in a way...
But I tried.
In a way that you can play it that way, but it's not. You're not getting the full effect of the game.
When I first bought this game, I was like, everything that happens, if someone's shouting for help, I'll go and help them and stuff like that. But I felt like I wasn't progressing at all in this world, just by helping everyone, and then seeing the sights and things like that, just plopping a dot on there and then just going that way. I felt like I wasn't really accomplishing anything in the world. So that's when I was like, well, I'm just going to start doing the story missions. And I think the problem for me is that this is a game that doesn't seem to respect your time. And because of the realism in it, it wants you to be like, come here. This is, open that drawer. Okay, open that drawer. Open. We're really getting you into this game. You're so immersed. Yeah, he walks a bit slow. Oh, you're running now? No, you're in camp. You can't walk faster because you're in camp. Why would you run in camp?
I've seen bits and read bits about Red Dead Redemption 2. The gameplay trailers that they initially put out really didn't sell me because it just looked like Red Dead Redemption 1 Extreme. But they didn't make it look fun, and that was my issue. And then when it came out and they said, there's so many hours in this game, and I'm thinking, I haven't got that much time anymore. But the one thing I read that people sort of don't like is there's animations for everything, and it does just sort of, you don't necessarily need animations for every single little moment in the game, which is fine. Yeah, that's the thing.
I treat it just like my real life. I make sure that Arthur has a bath every day. I go to the nearest hotel, have a bath, make sure he goes to bed at night, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
It should be said, that's not something you have to do.
No, that's just
obviously
because I'm
one bath
the most
in my
boring
entire
man on
time.
earth.
I streamlined it. You can just jump in a lake. So just jump in a lake and it cleans them.
You keep
just
your
do
horse
that.
clean, you keep yourself clean, just run through a lake. It's my general rule.
It's generally faster in first person mode, so I started playing the game in first person. Like, it's weird, just these little things. Like, I'm just, open a drawer, open another drawer, open another drawer. You compared it to Bioshock. I really like Bioshock. Bioshock is open, take everything.
You press it again to like take the stuff.
Red Dead Redemption is open this drawer, nothing. Open this drawer, nothing. Open this drawer.
This is the point we keep coming back to, though, is that the looting of cupboards is the main problem with the game. You see what I mean?
I
think he's had other valid points as well.
He has had valid points. I will not detract from what he's saying, but I think
you think it's still strong.
The big problem here is just tiny little things that really have no bearing, because, after a while, you just don't need to do them.
So the last big problem I have, if we're saying that the controls...
We've got to wrap up at some point.
The controls need getting used to, apparently.
The controls aren't great, but if you're used to them, it's fine. It's like many games. It's like lots of games.
I know, but why should you need to get used to them? They should just be good in the first place.
But what would you define as a good control system?
I hopped from Red Dead...
You don't know if it's good until you've played it.
I played Red Dead Redemption 2, and then I go to Hitman 2, and Agent 47...
I know what you're saying.
It's a much simpler game, though.
I know, but just walking... Just walking, Neil, like... You feel like pressing an analog stick forward.
That's it. So, I think what's Craig's saying is that Red Dead Redemption 2, in its realism, isn't as responsive, whereas in Hitman 2, you move forward, and you can sort of walk around in a circle, no issue. Whereas Red Dead Redemption 2, it takes, you have like a turning circle or such.
It's like
It takes a bit longer.
You press left and
it's
up.
to do with, I hate the term game feel, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It seems like you press a direction and then he has a split second to think about it. Just like, oh, I guess I'll go that way then.
It's one of the issues I had with Monster Hunter World as well.
My last big problem with Red Dead Redemption 2 is when you start getting into the cities. I'm sure you have at this point.
Yeah.
Have you? Yeah. Just I put a waypoint on the map, set my horse to just go there, so I don't need to do anything. You accidentally run into someone, you look up, half the police are on you for no real reason, and all you did was like cut up a lady, not even hit her in that way, and then that was a witness apparently.
You didn't chop a lady up into pieces.
No,
okay,
you just disrupted
blocked
her walk,
Yeah.
and then before you know it, if it was GTA, you'd be like 5-6 stars. Everyone's after you. I don't feel like that is very rewarding. Like if you're saying realism
so your
is good,
problem here is you chose not to ride into town on your own.
because it's garbage controls. Because it was the 500th time I'd ridden into town.
I've accidentally murdered people, like while not paying attention. I've knocked
Yeah.
people off of their horses, rammed them, killed them, whatever.
Okay.
It's just an added little thing. It's like, oh, I thought I was going into town right now, but no, I'm running, and I like that.
I think it's just to disagree.
It's a case to be made that you need to watch both ways before you cross the road.
Yeah.
Oh, but just like Mum used to say.
Exactly. I think it's safe to say that no one would disagree that it's a flawed masterpiece. What they've tried to do is very.
I think
Very
they had a
good.
lot of ambition.
Yeah.
I think you were right earlier that you can't deny they had ambition.
Yes.
Whether the crunch was, appropriate or not, that's another issue as well.
I think they've done things in this game that will influence games for generations to come, and they will be refined by games to come. But they had to try them in this game for like the next step to be made.
But just how they chose to do things is perplexing, because they've already made loads of open world games before, and just some of the style and choices they went with, it just boggles my mind that some things don't play as well as they should compared to even Red Dead Redemption 1.
I think the thing is the things that a lot of people hate are the same things that people like myself love. Like you saying about the gun thing, that you have to pull it out, then you have to like shoot it, then press it again, it will cock, and then you got to press it again to shoot it. And it's things like that I love, that it does feel more real, and as much as you say it doesn't feel responsive, but it's the closest thing to feeling like you have a gun in your hand when you're holding an Xbox One or a PS4 controller. And it's that little things that I love, and it's that reason. I'm not one really for like super immersion games normally, so it's the fact that this game has sucked me in so much. I'm like, oh man, Arthur's got to have a bath tonight, because like otherwise people are going to think he's grubby, and so it's that's like indicates to me that it is the game of the year.
Here's the ultimatum.
Baths.
All right.
Tom, Red Dead Redemption 2 or Breath of the Wild?
You know what?
Your favourite game of all time?
Of all time. Which one is better?
Mr.
They
Cowboy
are
hat.
so similar that I would find it hard to decide. I would probably say just at the moment, just because
That's what you're playing.
You're in the middle of it.
I'm halfway through it. I'm enjoying it for what it is. Whereas Breath of the Wild, I've kind of rinsed it to death to the point where it would be not quite as a rich experience second time round. It's got to be Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay. Well, here we go. That's
Here
it.
we go.
Boom.
Game of the
I
year.
think we know what me and Tom are voting for.
Game of the year. I've got it down, Dory. Tasmanian Tiger 2.
Okay,
Perfect.
great.
Hooray!
Hey, I would like to thank Ty's mum.
We've got to make a decision.
We do. I mean,
I'm going to put the mic down.
I like
Why?
Red Dead Redemption 2. I've put a multiple hours into it, and these are problems that I have come across, and as you agree, it is not a perfect game. There are still problems in this game. I would just like to say as well, Arthur Morgan, he's like Mr. Generic White Cowboy. Like, if we're really going that granular into it, he is Mr. Generic Cow. Anyone can do an impression of Arthur Morgan.
Until
Anyone.
later in the story.
Hello,
in fairness,
mate.
to give him his
I'm
due.
Arthur Morgan.
That could be Arthur Morgan.
It's the deciding vote here is Craig, really.
Well, it sounds like I'm already.
What are you voting for, Craig? Actually,
Well, with what we've got, like, I would vote God of War.
well, there we go. Then we go. That's it. That's it, I guess, isn't it?
What?
Red Dead Redemption 2 is game of the year.
Yeah.
Video game of the year.
Why would you go
Then
Dragon
we
Ball?
Huh?
Are you voting for Dragon Ball?
Yeah, because
I mean, there is an argument for Dragon Ball.
No, it's been locked in. Thanks for
The
listening,
best you can
everybody.
do
See
here,
you
Craig, is
tomorrow.
tie it up. What do you want to do?
In all conscious.
we're not sending them an
We've been
award. Don't
talking
worry.
for 49
Then-
minutes.
Then they're not going to put it on the
Because
box.
it is important, right? This game, you say it's a masterpiece. You say it's built
To
for
be
the
fair,
next.
I would agree with Craig. I don't think it's a masterpiece.
And it's
I
not
think
built for this
yeah.
generation. Like, it is this generation. Grand Theft Auto was last generation. Like, it's just a Rockstar game on this generation.
And to be fair, GTA 5 hasn't aged that well either.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but I feel like all the GTA's kind of like they're
It's
good
like-
at the time, and then they sort of but that's different. That's GTA.
I feel like I've rambled on and more about the problems, and it sounds like we're still just going to give it to it anyway. So if that's the
If you
way
want to
it
vote
is.
for Dragon Ball Z
Salty boy.
Fighters, you can
Salty
you can
boy.
get a tie, but
When the argument is, well, you just need to get better at it. You just need to do this. Well, that's the way they made it. But the realism makes it better. Like,
you're gonna have so many
no,
issues with that's the way they made Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
no, you don't have any issues with Dragon Ball because it feels good, it plays good.
The thing is, do you want a game that does one thing really, really well, or do you want a game that does everything and it's like the one game, it's like the supermarket of
Does
games.
everything.
Supermarket game.
Do you want to go to...
Unfortunately, I hate working in a supermarket.
It's very strange because you can't even say anything bad about it. You're just like, do you want one game that does one thing very, very well, or do you want this game you don't really
does
think
everything,
very well?
most things well, with a couple of little, hiccups.
I can watch people play Dragon Ball Fighters more than I can watch them play Red Dead, but that's a complete aside for me. So I can sit there and watch people play any fighting game. To be fair, so
If you want to put it for Game of the Year, I'm fine with that. I just, after my, however long this went, I just wanted to get my opinion out there.
okay. Do you want?
I think
It's-
you've made a very good point. I think you've got your point across very well. And I think it's been a very interesting debate. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we want our listeners to hear?
There you go.
for 49.
51 minutes.
All right, we can postpone this, Craig, and I can play God of War and give you another vote. That's going to take another
Tune
year.
in next time where God of War will be
Tune in
voted
next year when
the
God of
Tasmanian
War.
Tiger 2 Bush Rescue Award winner.
Go on now. Do the
Do you
honours.
okay, so looks like Game of the Year goes to Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Yeehaw!
Sometimes the obvious choice just isn't so obvious.
You all laughed at me for that.
But it was the obvious choice, wasn't it?
And what are our
We
runner-ups?
laughed at you because it was stupid thing to say.
And what's our runner-up?
What's the word? What's the runner-ups? That's the word. We got Dragon Ball Fighters Z, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and God of War.
Right, our next episode is going to be music-based, so we'll come back to that.
If you want even longer form content,
Yeah, tune in next episode tomorrow for Album of the Year 2018.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching.
See ya.
Sorry it went on.